Now, if anything, what'd you say your name is?
Anthony.
Anthony.
Yes.
Now, if you see anywhere where this is not like this right here, stop it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will. All right. Ready and action.
What's your name and where you're from, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Merline Houston. I am from Mooresville. I've lived here all my life. And I came up in the time when it was really rough as far as the black and white situation. And I came up not having a lot of confidence in myself because what I was looking at had nothing to do with me. But once I lived here a while and realized how things were, I began to just be myself. And it worked.
Mm-hmm. My name is Robbie Turner. I'm a resident of Mooresville for most of my life. I moved away for a while, then I moved back some years ago, and I have loved Mooresville from my heart as a child, but I was somewhat disappointed upon my return because I found out that things really hadn't changed as much. We have 150 that we brag about all the time, but down in 28115, nothing really has changed.
No.
Which is the heart of Mooresville.
Do me a favor. Look into this camera when
Look
you
into that
speak.
one.
Make this the main camera. I like this angle better than this one.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what changes have you seen in Mooresville from the time you were a kid until now?
The changes that I've seen from me being a little girl and having lived here all my life are not necessarily good changes.
Mm.
I thought about the subject Black Mooresville, the Untold Story. And I had to think back and wonder, is there really a Black Mooresville? I've always felt like a black person in Mooresville.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to have such a claim on it or feel like the native that I am to it, things don't happen that way.
Mm-mm.
Black people, just my opinion on that, black people have been pushed back into certain corners of Mooresville. You know how you hear people say, well, you know, we live on the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like to me that we as black people live. We live in Mooresville, but it's like we live on the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you picture Mooresville from that point of view, and you look at Main Street, you don't see black people because we are not on Main Street. We're in the pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, even as we live here today on Bell Street, I invite everybody to come and just come and see how good we have it. And I want you to go down to Lee Street and check out that beautiful park that we have. Because it took a lot to get it to come to fruition, didn't it?
It did.
So we live a certain way, and I want everybody to come and check us out and see how we live in Black Mooresville.
Today. Since you mentioned Lee Street Park, let's discuss that. Back in 2012, I was attending Mitchell College, and one of the programs I was doing an internship. And so one of the things we were asked to do was to do something that would affect change in our community. So I decided to take on a project called Community Caring and make it my program for the year as part of my internship. We did a program, a cleanup at the Lee Street Park, which is right down the road.
We did.
And we found that We had a lady come and do a report for the newspaper, and we found that they hadn't had new equipment in many, many years. The grass was overgrown, there was glass all around, the leaves were there, the grills were rusty, the equipment just was in disrepair. So we decided to look into that. Well, at that particular time, we had a sponsor or a partner that said, if you guys want to renovate that park because we don't want the children playing in that because it's dangerous, we'll supply the fundage if you get permission from the town for us to do this. Well, so I proceeded to address the town, and they came out and they said, well, that's just a normal amount of rust. And so I said to them, I'll tell you what, next time you want to have a cookout, you come and feed your family off of that grill.
I mean, we're just minor rust.
We just say, well, just put some foil over it. It should be all right.
Yeah,
Well, I wasn't satisfied with that answer, so I called our esteemed governor. At that time, it was Bev Perdue.
Yes, it was.
And she sent her representative to this because she told us that Mooresville, all parks were supported with funding from the state. And that park should not be in that condition. And so her representative came on a Saturday. We had our cleanup. And do you know, lo and behold, come Monday morning, they called me and said, Miss Turner, your new park equipment is on the way.
And it was rainy.
Yes. Now, how she got my number, how that money magically appeared,
it
beats
did.
me. But there was new equipment there. And so this is what I'm saying. These are the steps we as black residents of Mooresville have to go to get anything accomplished, because this Mooresville that we currently live in, which is run by people that are not from Mooresville, they're from other states. If you look at our town board, there's only one, I think, maybe two, that are residents of actual Mooresville. But if you are here, this is a very oppressive town.
Yes.
They're not a city. Don't care how much you grow. They're always going to be a little town.
Yes.
But it's very oppressive to people that are trying to become educated, that are trying to work and have a quality of life for their families. And these are the things that our program, Community Caring, looks to address.
And we also remember this one. When we had a cookout down there. Okay, well, we invited everybody, and the fire department came, remember?
Yes.
And so while we are sitting there and conversing, they say to us, we didn't know this was here. What? You didn't know that Lee Street Park was here? Well, if anything had happened, you wouldn't have known where to go. So we were like, okay, this is how this is.
Which I found rather odd, because there's only one Lee Street in Mooresville.
No.
And the park is named Lee Street Park.
Yes.
So, again, I was befuddled by that observation. And so these are the types of things we worked for the last 12 years to try to combat. And we have been cut off sometimes at many paths, but we always find an alternative route. Because when you have something that you are genuinely concerned about, which is the well-being and the welfare of our children, we don't do this for us.
No.
We live here. We're comfortable. We're older ladies. We're just trying to just enjoy life. But when something comes across my desk that needs attention, then that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's why we do what we do.
Because I have babies. I have so many babies. And when I call myself mother, all my babies know who I'm talking about. I'm talking to you beautiful babies of mine.
Yeah.
I think because of the fact that it's not about me, it's not about Rob, it's about the children. And I remember on one instance, someone in the political arena said to us, nobody said anything. So we thought, we have to say something. That's what they're waiting on, for us to say something. And there was no restroom at the park.
It still isn't.
So we said, well, what do our babies do when they come to the park? You know what? Oh, this is so beautiful. They told us, they said, have them walk up to the police department, which used to be over here up from Bell Street. Remember that name, Bell? Come by and say hi. And so, anyway, we said when they told us that, I'm not having my babies cross the road, walking in that traffic. Uh-oh. You know the two words I always use. Lo
And behold.
Thank you. Then we have a skate park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the skate park has a restroom. Who would have thought?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, we couldn't even get a, what's that thing called? Sandy.
Porta John.
Yeah, that. We couldn't even get that.
Mm-mm.
But of course, I mean, that's the way it is. You know, that's the way it's looked at. You know, but it is that because of the fact that they have Liberty Park.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been there
Mm-mm.
because I thought if I go there,
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later, slowly,
Mm-hmm.
a police car's going to pull up
Mm-hmm.
because I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there could be trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says it's a park.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what trouble I could cause at a park, but
Mm-hmm.
evidently somebody thinks I can. Me? But anyway, I think that when we want to think about a park, we have to just think about liberty. Don't even think about Lee. Don't even think about it. We just need to think about Liberty Park, and you know what? That'll make us just so happy inside, won't it?
No.
I'm just saying. But it's that we see with Main Street,
Mm-hmm.
all the other parks that are in Mooresville,
Mm-hmm.
all of them get all this wonderful care and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about the fact that anything that happens, especially on Main Street or around in that area,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking millions of dollars
Mm-hmm.
and millions and millions.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they do that?
Mm.
When we say we would like to build a place over here
Mm-hmm.
so that people can come and socialize,
Mhm.
the older people with the younger children,
Mhm.
you know, that's such a wonderful thing.
That's my dream.
It is, because you know you have always been for the old people,
I am.
and I've been for my babies.
Mhm.
And look how they could just enjoy each other. A cup of coffee, just sit and talk, you know, relate about things that where you came from, and teach the little children about those things. But then again,
But they're not going to allow that to happen, and I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because for the last 2 years, I deal in facts. For the last 2 years, I have petitioned the planning department just to come out and survey this land and tell us what we would need to do to be able to put a small building outside on our property. We're not asking about anybody else's property.
No.
We're talking about the property that we own. We wanted to have a small building where they could come, children could come, or people could receive help or services. I do tutoring. I do fill out information. I do computer work for
Yes.
people. I do that absolutely free for my community caring.
Yes.
Now, I'm not volunteering for anybody else for free, but I do it for my own group. And just for them to come, I would pay whatever the fee would be. But you know, they refused to come out here and actually do that. And I waited for 2 years.
You know, I can tell you why they're not doing that.
Why is that?
It's going to take such a long time. You're going to have to fill out this paper and that paper and that paper in triplicate. And we're going to have to wait until the board meets. And I'm thinking maybe 2030.
Well, but you know, and I would agree with that, except coincidentally,
Uh-oh.
I used to work for the Iredell County Planning Permitting Office,
Oh.
and it really doesn't take that long.
Okay.
But they don't think I know that,
Okay.
so that's why. And you know, by the way, they're going to open up a new permitting office here, because I won't be qualified to go, even though I worked for the county. I won't be qualified because I don't know.
And
They
that's
wouldn't
what-
let me read stories to the children
Children in the
in the
library.
library for a part-time job, even though I made Mitchell College's dean list the last two back-to-back and just missed it by a couple points this last time. But the point is, Mooresville is a very oppressive society. They're a little town that is all huddled together, and they only have certain people that they want in. They're a
Right.
very tough nut to crack.
Yes.
So we have found that most of our sponsorship and our partners are from other places and other states. Even from Washington, we've gotten some help. So I refuse to let my babies, my children, suffer because we have some people that want to keep their job and want to basically die out of office before they give new talent a chance and an opportunity. So for that reason alone, I have stopped. I finished school. That's why I'm on hiatus, and I have now devoted my efforts to getting phase 3 of community caring up and running, and that's what we're working on. So stay tuned. Community caring is coming your way.
Stop it real quick.
Now you can cut out what you want, but you just got
Oh,
me
it's
on the
all
road.
good. I just wanted to, so the files won't be that large whenever we
Oh, you.
go to edit it.
He does always say that your file is too large.
Yeah.
So yeah. We had a program here in May, and he did the T-shirts. He made the names of T-shirts and did all the flyers and all the booklets and stuff, whatever it is. So yeah, when you talk about that stuff, that's what Lonnie knows. We don't know about these pixels. He taught me what a pixel was. That's pretty much what I got.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, and action.
All right. So you had mentioned Main Street and the different places where Black people live. Can you describe that a little bit?
It is that Main Street is where Mooresville puts all of their attention and the money. So many times when we would have we would have programs for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we would have it most of the time over at the War Memorial. Well, they would always say, "Oh, well, you have to pay for this because we need the money," and we're like, "Okay," but then you turn around and build something that's $2 and $3 million, and I'm thinking, where is the money coming from? And so we as Black people, we are in pockets. We are here on Bell Street. We are on a place called The Junction.
Yes.
We're on Ash Street. We're on the West End. We are what's the one up at
Piedmont Point.
Piedmont
Meadowlark
Glen. We are there, but we're not where people actually come in and see us. We are just not walking up and down Main Street at any given time because that's not what we do.
Right.
So for us, it's like, yes, we're here, but we're not noticed. It's not that anything is done for us. Anytime we ask for anything, oh, it's going to take some time. Where are we going to have to do this? Well, now we want to get it. We want to get it for you, but now you have to be patient. Oh, I remember coming up, and my daddy would say, "Well, let's just wait, and we'll see." I always knew when he said that. You know what that meant? You're not getting it. So when they say that to us now, I'm like, okay. So wait is just that word to get me off of you for just a little bit.
And to show you how long this battle has been going on with the oppressiveness that's happened to the Black culture here in Mooresville, our uncle is 80. He'll be 84 next month, Lord willing.
Yes.
He lives up on Biltmore. It took him 40 years, 40 years, to get a sidewalk down his street.
Right.
40 years. They kept telling, well, it's on the books, it's on the books, it's on the books. It was on the books 40 years ago.
40
Why did it take you 40 years to get a sidewalk? So what we noticed recently, starting last year, was they started building, they found some spaces on Bell Street where they put up new homes. I think 4 on the lower end and 2 townhomes on this end closest to us.
Right.
Well, what we found out, that's the beginning of their gentrification.
Yes, it is.
And so now they're beginning to add some, we decided you all need to, we're going to upgrade you for free. We're going to improve the water. We're going to do all that. You didn't do that for us. We've been here how many years? This street looks the exact
Same way.
When I left in 1990, it had looked the exact same way when I came back in 2005.
This is one of the oldest streets in Mooresville.
I used to walk this street as a child, and it looks the exact same. And for that, I was so disappointed when I came back. Because of all that you want everybody to know, you want everybody to know about 28117. But if there was never a 28115, you wouldn't have a 28117.
Exactly.
This is how tricky they are. There was a time when Mooresville was looking to get some grant money to do some things that they said they were going to do. But when they filed the paperwork with the federal government, they didn't include the income from 28117. They only included 28115. Well, trying to be sneaky doesn't pay you anything, because the government found out and they said, oh, no. You got to include both of these zip codes in Mooresville. And when they did that, it raised the median income to $42,000 and I believe $200. And that disqualified them. You see how sneaky people try to be? You never get anywhere doing anything underhanded. So that's why we try to do things open, honest, and decently. But as you can see, that really doesn't fit in with the ideals of the town government of Mooresville. And so we have fought and continue to fight, and we'll continue to fight for the people that live here, because they deserve change, they deserve improvements. They've worked long and hard, and they deserve that type of nothing else. They deserve it just for the respect purpose. And that's what we see we don't get unless we force the issue.
Because as it was stated, we have to say something. And so unless you say something, they just assume that everything's all right. Well, you didn't say anything. No. We're saying something because we realize that we have one black public cemetery. And you know, I visited the cemetery one day. And they're saying how they've improved it and whatever. I couldn't get all four of my wheels on the paved part. And all I saw was cones. But I know it's going to take time. You know, it always does when it comes to us. And so what other people are looking at, look what they've done. Look what they've done. No. Check out Willow Valley.
You know, speaking of the cemetery, they sent me a request and asked me if I could get some workers to help them come and clean up the cemetery. Now, keep in mind, normally that's what I would do. But the Green Acres is a town-owned, town-supported cemetery.
Yes, it is.
So if you don't need me to clean and get volunteers to go clean up Willow Valley, why do you need me to get volunteers to go clean up Green Acres?
Because it's a black cemetery.
You see the difference? That's what I'm saying. Those are the issues and types of things we come up against all the time in our work and trying to improve our community.
Yes.
Because someone has to speak out. You can't fire me. You won't hire me. So what am I afraid of losing a job? But you have to be open and honest and willing to have this discussion. We had to have some complaints from some of the workers because they were saying, well, we would come through and we tried to stop and talk to some of the people, but they weren't welcoming to us. All of a sudden, for 20 years, no one from the town has been here. And all of a sudden, you roll up in your truck and go up on their porch and ask them, what can they do? Do you need them to help you get some of that stuff off your porch? You don't know who this person is.
And you can't just roll up.
Yes.
And do stuff. And when I come out and ask you what you're doing, well, we're not supposed to. Oh, no. We're going to say something here today. Because remember, I've worked over 30 years as a nanny. I've been in all different developments. I haven't been in the places where we live as black people. But where I have been, it was either a paper sent out, somebody came and told you a week before they were going to do whatever they were going to do on that particular street, because they did not want you not to know what's going on. And see, when you are an agent for somebody else, I had to go do a lot of work for other people. And you know what messed me up was when I went to do their business and I told them who I was working for. How many times did they tell me, Well, I'm not supposed to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but so see, I still have that in my memory bank.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to do this, but my sister also alerted me when she lived on 3.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you say happened when you would do the trash pickup?
Whenever the trash pickup rolled around, and the people had their containers on the curb, whenever the truck came by, we had the same ones where they lifted over and they put it back down. Now, whenever someone dropped the trash can on 3,
Mm-hmm.
they would get out of that truck and pick that garbage can up and set it upright. Well, that's what I found out. Well, when the power went out when I was living on 3, I didn't know they did this. You know what? Duke Energy called and said, you have about 20 minutes and then your power shall be restored. And then when it was, and you know what? It actually was. And then they called back and they said, in case you want to set your clock, the time is now 2:20. I was like, I didn't know they did that. But that's because otherwise I lived in a black community. Well, just last week we had the tornado here, and there was a gigantic tree that fell just right down the road. The town came out and knocked the power out. We were out of power for 3 days. But what was so sad was whenever the town finally got here and the crews finally got here, they taped it off. They told us, y'all can't get out. Y'all going to stay where you are.
This is a cul-de-sac. We have nowhere else to get out.
That's the only way we have to get out of here. When you tape, and they were motioning us back, you can't get out. So they taped it all off, and we couldn't get out. But you had people here with children. We had no power. What are these kids supposed to eat? What are they supposed to do about food? What their elderly people? What do people need? You didn't care. No one came and said, we're going to tape it off. You all are going to have to stay in here. And whatever. No one came and told us that. The only reason we knew is because we rode down the street. And they said, no, go back. You can't come this way. We have no power. Didn't have power for 3 days. What are people supposed to feed their children? What are we supposed to eat? You can't cook. You don't have any power. Did they care? No, they didn't.
See, baby sister, I have to remind you.
Okay.
I know you've been to school and you have all of these degrees and stuff, and you're really brilliant.
Means nothing.
But what you have to realize is that it was black people. Now, yes, we have a little mixture going on up in here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not enough.
No.
So you have to realize that when they tape it off, they mean whatever you have to do, you just have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you people are used to doing that. Y'all are so resourceful.
You mean when we run through the tape? We run through the tape. And so that's what we basically had to do to get out of here. Because whether most of y'all know or not, I am considered disabled. And I have to take medicine every day. And I have to have food with it. So that day, no one cared. Did anyone come to my door?
No.
Now, whenever you wanted me to move that drainage and clean that drain up down the street, you put a door hanger on my door and said, we need for you to keep that drain cleaned.
You. I mean,
Me.
you.
The
Yes.
disabled one.
Well, take your cane in one hand and then take the broom and the mop or whatever it is in the other hand and just go clean it up.
So what they're telling me is I have skills.
Yes, you do.
No skills to get a
You
job,
didn't know it?
but I got skills.
You didn't know?
Evidently that's what that lady thought when she followed me all around the store. I thought I was going to steal a sweater. Lady, I have a cane in one hand and I'm trying to hold on to the rail with the other hand. Where am I supposed to put a sweater?
Oh, you know how inventive we are.
We have skills.
But it's that. It's living with that.
Every day.
Every day. When you wake up black, that's a whole new experience. And you have to understand what that means from the time you put your feet on the floor. It's battle time.
Yes, it is.
And so this is what I have seen all my life. I've been here. I'm 73 years old. I've seen it all. Seen it come, seen it go. Seen it just kind of mess up in the middle. All of that.
We seem to get better with age. And the reason I say that is because, hello, I just finished another semester at Mitchell from the spring. And guess what? I had a 4.0. Another one.
Means
But
nothing.
still, I can't get a job reading a storybook to kids at the library.
Means nothing.
Go figure. So when you tell me get education, it means absolutely nothing.
Mm-mm.
So whenever you see these young people hanging out on the corner and on the street, you just said to them, Miss Robbie, with all her credentials, I've been going to
She
Michigan
can't get a
since
job.
2008. If I can't get a job, they say, what are they supposed to do?
Exactly.
So I stopped perpetuating that lie, because that's what it is in the great town of Mooresville, North Carolina. If you purpose your heart to do better, you need to have somebody sow into your life some productive seeds,
Yes.
so you can become a productive citizen. That's what we were told we were supposed to be, and I do that on a regular basis. But how dumb do I look when I say that, and then these kids have no follow-up or no evidence that they can see to prove it?
When I have my babies at school, and some of them don't go to school every day, because my girls don't have what they need as far as feminine hygiene. That's not good. It's not good at all, because kids can be cruel. And so when we don't provide for them, what do you think you're telling them? But you want them to go to school every day.
Yeah.
Get your education.
Pay taxes. Pay those taxes.
They love that part.
Mhm.
That's the part.
They want us to have home ownership. They want to raise the home ownership up in our communities. They say because most of us are renters.
Okay.
Well, there are no programs in Mooresville. There are programs in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County
Yes.
that help with first-time homeowners. There's credit counseling. There are all types of programs to get you on your feet. There's assistance for single mothers. There's help with people that are homeless. There's help with people that need food and clothing and shelter. All of these programs exist there. But we aren't a part of Mecklenburg County. We're a part of Iredell County. But there's always been that stigma between Mooresville and Statesville, that Mooresville always feels like they're better. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to set the record straight. Mooresville is by no means better. We're all in the same boat. And what we need to do is work together to improve the quality of life of us all as a whole. No, there should be no reason, there is no valid reason why children in Mooresville, 1 out of every 4 child goes to bed hungry at night. That should not be.
Oh no, I was up there just saying.
Well, let's have to stop real quick.
And action.
Okay.
So, why do you feel that black people in Mooresville need a voice or need someone to speak for them?
Because there's always that thing that we talk about here. If you speak out, as we've learned from history, what happens, Rob?
You get
intimidation. And so that's not a good thing for anybody. But at the same time, somebody has to say something. And if you say something, then at least they can't say from then on, whatever goes on. You know, nobody really said anything. No, I mean, because you thought we just love living like this. This is how we want to wake up every day and face the world. We want to know that when we go into the store and I see you before I get in there and you get real busy folding clothes. Or, this is my favorite one, when I go into the department store and I'm walking around doing what I'm doing, there's this little child in the aisle with me. Well, he's standing there looking at me like he don't know who or what I am. Well, his mother comes and gets him and says, "You're okay, you're okay." What does that mean? I do not want your child. But it's that. It's going places where, you go in and they serve you. And you're back in some corner. Could be near the bathroom. Because remember, you cannot legislate morality. You can only make a law and say, you have to serve them. You have to let them come in. You have. But I have found in my years, my husband said this long time ago. He worked at Burlington Mills for years and years. And he said to me one day, he said, honey, I'm tired of training my boss.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as I worked down there, I found out I was doing the same thing. Wait a minute, I'm training you, but then you become my boss.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Mm.
Or, this is a big one, we're going to have you do this job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to give you 2 weeks training.
Mm-hmm.
Know how many days I had? 3.
Mm.
Never had 2 weeks in my life.
No.
But it's that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you live with that
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of these people, when I go into a store, if you have no personality,
Mm-mm.
work in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Won't nobody see you. You don't have to say how you doing. You're having a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. But this is what we have to deal with on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my sister and I, we do not shop in Mooresville.
Mm-mm.
If you're going to act like when I walked in the store, I walked in the wrong door,
Mm-hmm.
why would I give you my money?
Mm-mm.
I'm not doing that.
We don't.
And you can say, well, oh, you're just 2 people. You mean nothing.
No.
We don't care.
We're not the only 2 people either.
And you know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over worrying about the fact that you don't care.
But you're going to lose some money.
Thank you. You know, because everywhere else, they just love it when we pay out.
Oh, they love us.
Oh, my goodness. They're just so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that you realize you have to take a stand.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
You can't just allow things to be the way they are. Why? Because that's the way they're supposed to be. Not in my book.
Mm-mm. And speaking of, you want to know why black people don't say anything, is because they live in the fear of being blackballed.
Yes.
Because they know someone will come after them if they say anything.
Yes.
And you ask us, well, why do you all say anything? What I got to lose?
We don't care.
At this point in time in the game, what do I have to lose? I have often said, I'll play the game. Just tell me the rules. But you all are unfair because every time I get right there, you decide you want to change the rules. That's why black people don't say anything. I remember this one particular occasion while I was still attending school. I was helping this young lady. We were in a office class taking instruction on how to format presentations to give out publicly. So I sat beside this young lady. She was a nice young lady. She was asking me, Miss Robbie, how do I do this? How do I format it like this? Mine doesn't look like yours. And so I helped her. And she did well on it. Of course, I got an A. Remember, I'm the 4.0 student.
Right.
And so then I saw her again who got ready to go. So one day I was at town hall, and I think we went there to pay the water bill or something. And she said, look, Miss Robbie. I said, hey, honey, how you doing? She said, look. She said, this is what I got for my birthday. I said, what did you get for your birthday? She said, I got this job.
That's how it works.
Because her mother worked for the school system.
Oh,
and
wow.
put in a good word for her.
Wow.
See, we don't have any black people that work in the local government around here that can put in a word for us. Even though we've lived here all of our lives and know more about the town than the people we have serving on it.
No.
But yet still, we don't qualify. Why? Because we won't say what you want us to say. So therefore, that's why black people don't say anything, because you'll either make them pay or you'll mistreat them in some kind of way. So that's why they don't say anything. And you say, well, why do you all say it? Because
somebody has to say it.
Alternative forms of financial support besides a job.
And you have to realize this. How many times, and you've seen this scene on movies, where when they say something that's not pleasant, then the next thing you know, you got a paper tacked on your door saying you better pay this by this week or we shutting you down.
Yep.
And we're like,
Okay.
put one on there.
Go
What?
ahead.
We have to come to the part of where we realize you can't scare me no more. Black people have always lived with fear. And then you wonder especially when I tell my friends, my white friends, that somebody in my family or somebody passed. Oh, they were so young. No, they weren't. They've lived 2 or 3 lifetimes just in those years that they were here. Why? Because of oppression.
And don't get me wrong, I am not an angry black woman because I am a black woman. I am angry because I'm tired of seeing my kids, my family, my friends, my neighbors. I'm tired of seeing them oppressed just because you don't like the color of their skin. It is a proven fact and known that everybody bleeds red.
Yes.
So why is it that the outward appearance of me makes you hate me before you know me? Or think I am less equipped or less qualified because I look a little different than you? That has to stop because it's wrong and it's unfair. And none of us are going to get anywhere as long as that type of attitude exists. Mooresville now is going through some upheavals because they're going through a lot of changes. A lot of these changes could be avoided and helped and solved if you would just ask the right people. Don't sit up in your ivory tower like the Renaissance attitude and look down on the regular people, because I'll tell you, I'm regular all day long, but I am by no means a dummy.
All right, let's stop real quick. I got the last question.
And action.
The reason we started our organization was because we saw that it was needed. I remember saying so many years ago, I wanted to feed people, I wanted to help people. And I didn't know when or where or how. But my sister was doing a project in school. And so she came up with this. And it turned out it was it was a beautiful thing to even think about. And to know that we've helped people and continue to help people in this community and all over Mooresville. Because it's a stated fact that I can't get anywhere if I'm holding you down. Takes too much energy to hold you down. So it is the reason why community caring came into being.
Yes.
I was working in Cornelius at the time, and the family that I was working for, he said, "Oh, that's a good idea." And I said, "Could you help us with the logo?" And he did. And it was 2 hands in a heart clasping together. And that's what it is. That's what community caring is, because we care. And you have to care. Because when you stop caring, it's a really cold world.
Yes, it is.
And it's been cold for us a long time. Sometimes you just need to come out of the cold.
Community caring actually was developed after the initial program. It was developed, it has morphed into phases. Phase 1 was the food gathering and food distribution as it was needed. Phase 2 became household needs, clothing, because we realized that you can't help the children if you don't help the family as a whole.
Exactly.
So then we morphed into helping with tutoring, helping them graduate, get their high school equivalency. We helped them with business courses and business knowledge for their families and their households so they could grow and get on track with paying their bills, paying themselves, and having a savings. We even had children here that were going to open up a savings account at Wells Fargo Bank, just to let them know that when they got their little allowance or whatever, sometimes they would come here and they would work and we'd put that money towards going into their little savings account. But it taught them about saving, it taught them about working, it taught them about how to provide for yourself. Now we're getting ready to morph into phase 3. I will not speak about it right now because I don't want anybody trying to hijack the idea. But it is going to be something that will open doors for people, because in this day and time, people are hungry, people are
Yes,
suffering,
yes.
people are worried and concerned.
Yes.
And our job, our goal, our desire is to be able to offer them hope and offer them solutions that will help them have a better future. Now, what we're going to do, it is going to involve both the community side and the business aspect.
Yes.
But it will be something that will help them in totalities for them to have a better quality of life at their home. And so we're just going to get our partners and our sponsorships together and give them the idea. We've already spoken with them about it. They're interested in it. And so we're going to proceed with getting this set up, because it is our goal to help them where we can.
You know, and it's something when you give food or hygiene products and you see the look on their face.
Yes.
And sometimes they just stand there and just say, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so many times they'll say, you don't know what this did for me. No, you don't know what it does for us.
Yeah.
To be able to help and to make someone's day a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Take it off to where you don't have to, you're not every minute thinking about, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? If I take that, then how am I going to use this for that? You can't have a whole family using one toothbrush. That's not supposed to be. We're in 2023.
That's unsanitary.
This is not the 1950s or the 1960s. Well, why does it look like it? We have to understand that if you're not helping people, what good are you?
Yeah.
If you want to leave something in the earth, let it be love. Let it be caring. Let it be where that little boy and that little girl has that smile on their face and they're running out in the yard, jumping and playing. Why? Because they have what they need.
Yeah.
And so that's why we do what we do. And we will continue to do what we do.
Yes. We like to adopt the physician's creed, do no harm.
Yes.
We don't want to do any harm, but we do want to offer help, support, and our assistance wherever we can. That is the motto of community caring.
Thank you.